everyone, welcome back. You may have been expecting to see Steve, but I thought it was time I took over the deck. So welcome back, everybody. And also, I haven't spoken to Rob in a while. I think Rob is out there somewhere on the showcase demo. Rob, are you there? Hello.
Yes, I am. Hey, great to hear your voice on here. I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, oh, this is exciting. Yeah, are you throwing over to me? Should we do the
I am.
Talk
Please
Nexus
do.
dashboard? All right, we're going to do that over here, guys. Thanks for joining us. So Vimala, I want to introduce. Vimala and I go a ways back. How long have you been with Cisco?
18 years now, almost. It's a lifetime.
Yeah, and that's more than I was going to guess, and I'm like, that's very substantial. So you've changed a lot in terms of really gaining lots of new responsibility. And when it comes to Nexus Dashboard, however, that's also a technology set that has continued to grow and kind of consume multiple functions with the goal of making things easier on our customers. But I wonder if you could give us an overview of Nexus Dashboard and what's important to remember in today's environment.
Sure, absolutely. So, hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I wanted to give you guys a quick overview of Nexus Dashboard. And Nexus Dashboard is Cisco's all-in-one platform to make managing data center fabrics as easy as possible. So just like Rob said, we're always wearing our customer hats, customer focused to make sure that we fix the challenges that you guys have in your day-to-day operations. We understand that managing data center fabrics is complex, especially when they are distributed 1x, 2x, 3x. So we want to make sure that Cisco Nexus Dashboard brings it all together, whether it is your LAN, your storage area networks, your third-party fabrics. We bring it all together to make it the easiest way to manage, automate, and operate your data center fabrics.
Excellent. You have something to show us as well, I believe. Yeah?
I have an exciting demo prepared for you guys. So with that, I'd like to get started. Welcome to Nexus Dashboard. This is the home page. As soon as you log in, you get a global view of all of your data center fabrics, whether they're single site or multi-site, whether they are ACI fabrics or VXLAN EVPN fabrics. You get a quick overview and a quick health check of your fabrics. So now if I take a look at one of my fabrics, I want to be able to, again, see all of the relevant information that a network operator would need to know right off of the bat. So Nexus Dashboard uses AI-driven insights to give you real-time telemetry, anomaly detection, as well as anomaly correlation, and I'll explain what that actually means. And the best part is based off of all of our great wealth of knowledge, we give you the root cause and how to fix it as fast as possible. So with that, I'd like to show you, if I click on the anomalies, I can show you that I have several critical anomalies. First one is an interface down anomaly that I want to take a look at. So you can see here that interface Ethernet 1/40 is down, and you'll be able to see that I have a root cause flagged, which is a great point to make here. So what it does is that it understands what anomaly is coming in, correlates all of the other ones to make sure that it tells you what the impact is. So what's wrong? What's triggered? What is the impact? Exactly, it's not a touch screen, we'll get there. But what's important is that one downfall can actually impact many different things in your network, and at times we need to know what all of that means to us. And so this really nicely tells you all of the impacted interfaces, and most importantly, it tells you what you need to do to get the issue fixed. Okay. So moving on, another very common challenge that our network operators tell us is, I get a trouble ticket that's open and then says, I have congestion on an interface. So, I mean, this is the most common troubleshooting ticket that we hear. Well, Nexus Dashboard is here to solve and help you identify where that problem is. It can spot the packet drops, the latency, and again, tell you the root cause fix. So here, if I take a look, this is my AIML-driven fabric. I see that through a congestion anomaly, I see a network congestion indication happening here. We actually can monitor real time on an interface the congestion that's happening. So if we see here, network interface 1/10 is actually experiencing congestion. And yes, for AIML workloads, they are very sensitive to congestion, and that is something that we need to avoid. So here it says here we need to actually enable the template. Nexus Dashboard has a really nice prescribed QoS template to optimize AIML workloads for you. All you have to do is click it, and it optimizes, it fine-tunes it, takes out all the guesswork, and does the job for you. So beyond troubleshooting, Nexus Dashboard actually makes it very simple to onboard any kind of fabric that you're looking for. So here, if I take a look at create a new fabric, I want to show you the sheer number of options that you have. Whether they're campus networks, whether they are a classic spanning tree VPC network, we can bring all of those type of fabrics and manage it under a Nexus Dashboard. Really easy, and the way that the templates are done is automated, so again, we implement the best practices to bring up the fabrics as best as possible. Now, my last point which is a very important point, is security. Security is driven within the data center fabric portfolio from the inside out, from the ASICs to the software. And what we've done now with VXLAN EVPN, with the latest version of Nexus Dashboard, is we've implemented and given customers the flexibility to have increased amount of security to be able to cover macro to micro segmentation. And also with the latest release, we can now have policy and between two different heterogeneous fabrics and be able to enforce policy, really giving our customers a true one fabric experience between ACI and VXLAN EVPN fabrics. Thank you.
That was incredible. Thank you so much. I know we're tight on time, so I'm going to throw back to the studio. Alpa, loved this.
Amazing, right? Thank you so much for the
Exactly.
detailed demonstration, Vimala and Rob, to you both. Thank you
She's
so much.
amazing.
We're going to dig a bit deeper now into this, and I'm delighted to be joined in the studio with Russell Rice, who's our Director of Product Management Hyperfabric here at Cisco, and he's going to be in conversation with Christoph Franke, Senior Solution Architect at NTT. Hi, Russell. Handing over to you.
Hey, I'm excited, by the way. First, let me just say, Hyperfabric, we just announced orderability this week, Monday, and personally, as the product manager responsible for this stuff, I'm really excited that people can now start ordering this stuff. In a month from now, on March 10th, anybody in the world can go to hyperfabric.cisco.com and to start designing your own fabrics for free. So have at it, and that's a challenge. But we've been actually running a beta program for about 3 months right now, and I was really excited to run into Christoph, who's one of our big participants in this. Christoph, as he mentioned, works at NTT, and I just love kind of why you got involved and what do you think about this system so far from what you've seen?
All right, hi Russell. My role in NTT is Senior Solution Architect, so mainly doing pre-sales, but I'm also responsible for the demo and the demo lab and testing out new stuff. So if we want to sell or we want to try to see if a product is capable to be sold in our country, I'm testing it.
So basically, if it's good enough, you say yes. If it's bad, you say no.
Yeah, in general, yes. It's not only me. It's in team that we decide these things, but I'm part of it. Yes, indeed.
First impressions of a Hyperfabric. You've been kicking tires for a couple of months now, I think.
Yeah,
kind of,
indeed.
What kind of attracts you to it? What do you think about it?
The easiness. The product is very easy to work. It's you can find the stuff quite easy where you want to do certain things, and it also makes, or it looks that everything is very easy. It doesn't let you, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know all this difficult stuff like VXLAN, like EVPN, and so on. It's all behind the scenes.
It's all behind the scenes. In fact, that's one of the big points we tried to make is we tried to make all of the fabric technologies hidden. So all you kind of do is have a service layer that you expose. In the way that you've been interacting with it, in that notion of kind of separation between what's in the bubble and what's out of the bubble, you've mentioned easy. How does that affect you from a day-to-day operational? If you're a customer or you're kind of using this, what does that mean is off your plate or still on your plate?
It's in the beginning. It's you need to adapt to the new way of working, because in the past you had the CLI, you had a lot of capabilities to do stuff.
Yep.
Now it's all in a GUI or by API to automate stuff, and that's a different way of working. So that's something that you learn, and that it's the new habit.
Right.
So that's the biggest challenge in the beginning of if you set up. Then
because you're used to a certain way and this is just different than that?
Indeed. And so that you start first with the blueprint that you create or you design your fabric. You can do all the interconnects of your backbone connections between the spines and the leaves or between different leaves. And then you start connecting everything, putting the systems in the switches in the cloud, so they are managed, and then you go on. Or even you can design your full network before you have the hardware. And I think you will have a shorter time to market because, or for the clients then, that you can already install or configure everything, and as soon as the switches are there, you can install it, you can get off, and I think that's a really big advantage of it.
No, that's interesting. One of the things when we first were doing work and trying to assess where we should start, one of the things we had or learned early on was that, fabrics don't start from when I'm provisioning the fabric. They start from like, what's the design I want? What's the cabling plane need to look like? And who do I need to work with? I think you're kind of reinforcing that it has a different start point, so it's different, but it makes some sense and it may smooth out the whole process. Is that kind of where you're going with that statement?
Indeed, that's true. So you said it, the cabling plan. And sometimes it's really a struggle because the engineers that are designing the fabric or configuring the fabric is not always the same people that are installing it. And then sometimes you have, the cables are not connected correctly or something like that. But now you can print out the cabling scheme up front and you can give it to the people, or you send it digital. And I think there will be less mistakes by miscabling it, because you can already send all the information up front and then they only need to read what to connect.
Perfect. We used to have a joke inside that I think one of the most used tools, I guess, in IT is probably spreadsheets.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
And so we tried to uplift the spreadsheet into the tool itself. So basically, it's the design, and you spit out the spreadsheet. Like you're calling that out too. Interesting. You know, one of the things that's interesting is that when we were designing it, one of our audiences, we were trying to go after people who got used to cloud and kind of deploying technology in cloud, and they didn't know a lot about how the plumbing works. They just wanted their applications and run it. So we took that, but there's a whole section of people who grew up very differently. You know, been doing, like yourself, you've been doing networking for a long time. You kind of are very used to using CLI and a command structure that we've been using for 20, 30 years with configuration files and all that. This has a different paradigm. Kind of, can you describe your feeling, how this feels different than that, and kind of what that means to a guy like you? In a positive way, obviously.
Yeah. So first of all, it's a different way of thinking, because now you are doing it in a queue or by API. So I'm also busy a little bit inside entity with automation, so Ansible, Terraform, and so on. And then you see the power of the automation, that you can automate certain things, and also next to that, you can keep your environment compliant with the rules. If you are using Terraform, for example, you have your state file, and then you can quickly check, is my environment still the same as before? And that's the power of the tool. If you are everything doing CLI, you need to do it everything manual, because a CLI is not made for automation. You need to do every switch separately. And you can get 10, if you have 10 switches, you have 10 different configurations. With automation, you will have 10 exactly the same configurations at the end. And that's the most important one.
Perfect. And if you have 5 CCIs, you get 5 different designs too, I guess.
Indeed.
So perfect. So hey, throwing it back to Alba. Thank you very much, Christoph. It was great talking with you.
Done with pleasure.
Thank you so much, Russell and Christoph. I love the knowledge, right, that we're sharing today. Amazing. Thank you so much. So we'd love to hear from you and what you've been experiencing so far, your thoughts on that recent interview. Don't forget to get social. Tell us your thoughts. Tag us at Cisco Live EMEA and use hashtag Cisco Live EMEA. Why not share some of your highlights of the week, given that we're concluding the event? I'd love to hear from you, and so would the team. So don't forget, tag us at Cisco Live EMEA and use hashtag Cisco Live EMEA. I'm really excited for the next session around top IT trends. If we think about how far Cisco has come in the last 40 years, it's so exciting to think what's going to come beyond, right? And what's going to happen in the next 40 years. So think about that. Think about the opportunity. So very shortly, we're going to be heading over to our center stage session to hear from Chintan Patel about building for the future, top IT trends. I cannot wait for this session. Make sure you tell me your comments as well on social. And we're going to head over to the session now. Enjoy.